Now, coronavirus, of course, is for some the overarching issue of failure or the overblown issue that we've all been forced to lock ourselves in our house for, depending on where you sit, particularly there in America. But the CDC has told governors, get ready, a vaccine could be coming. Now, the speculation then leads to this might be the October surprise, which essentially kills off coronavirus. What's your sense about this? Because I know there's lots of governments sort of positioning themselves, but do you think we're actually going to get an announcement about, we got him, about a vaccine before the election?
Well, I'm sure you're going to get an announcement about a vaccine before the election. I mean, Vladimir Putin's already announced a vaccine, given it to his daughter, in fact.
Good point.
But whether, you know, the issue is people place enormous faith in the authorities here in the United States, because it is the home of big pharma, big pharmaceutical companies, that they will have an integrity around the vaccine. And whatever is announced, if there is a vaccine announced, it will have that integrity around it. I'm absolutely confident of that. In fact, the leaders of big pharma have said that they would not submit a plan for a vaccine unless they had absolute faith in it. Now, whether Americans take it up and whether they can get 340 million vaccines out there is another story altogether. Look, you know, what I'm sensing in the community, Paul, is that people are living with and hopefully containing the coronavirus in the United States. You still have 30 to 40,000 new cases every day. And in fact, university colleges, college campuses, have become the new hotbed for the coronavirus. But here in the streets of Washington, I noticed over the weekend people were starting to come out and about. Restaurants were starting to reopen, and people are living with the coronavirus, but managing it. People are wearing masks, people are keeping some distance apart, but people are living with the coronavirus because everyone knows you have to get the economy back open. And, you know, I found it quite confronting. I went to the supermarket and parked in the shopping centre yesterday, and this, you know, woman with a child and a man, well-dressed, came up to me and begged for money. And, you know, you have your beggars on the streets and you try and help where you can. But in this case, it was really quite confronting because it was a family and you could see in their eyes they really needed money. And they said they'd lost their jobs. I talked to them, I gave them some money, but you know, I don't think I was conned. I think it was real. And America has to get back to work. In fact, the whole world has to get back to work. And some of the health authorities are looking for complete elimination of the virus. That is not possible. And New Zealand has proven that. And so you do need to try and manage and contain it. But if you don't have jobs, there will be more and more people begging on the streets, not only here in the United States, but all around the world.
And do you think that Biden has done enough to lay an expectation of how he gets the country back to work? Because I think this is the interesting politics, right? Is we know where Trump is, but Biden is still at, if the doctors say lockdown, I'm going to lock down. He's still back in lockdown mode, but Trump's in get back to normal life world. You've got to imagine, as you say, which way that's going to push for people. I'm surprised Biden hasn't tried to make more of that, but of course that means, by recognising a return to normal, then it removes coronavirus as the thing to hang around Trump's neck.
You're absolutely right. What Donald Trump has done is he's made it more of an issue for the states, which is interesting because the states, like Australia, the states have authority over health, but not over the economy. And because the Congress failed to come to an agreement on a stimulus package, Donald Trump used his executive order power to direct the states to start funding their communities. So they all of a sudden had the economic responsibility and not just the health responsibility for dealing with coronavirus. What that has done is it's lowered the temperature on the coronavirus as a national issue and as a political issue. And at the same time, Joe Biden has had to come out of the basement and start campaigning around the country, which he is doing. So I'm with you. I think the coronavirus is going to become less of an issue. It's going to be, contained in individuals or managed in individual communities. And there will be more of a focus on the economy. As I've said previously, this election will be about jobs and security from a Republican perspective. For the Democrats, it'll be I'm not Donald Trump. And I don't think I'm not Donald Trump is enough of a policy platform for Joe Biden to win at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Twitter isn't real life. You might get all of your applause from there, but Twitter ain't real life, and it ain't real life in the United States. Finally here, it's incredibly hot in California at the moment. I think it's the hope for today is it's going to be 35 degrees. Because it is so hot, lots of people have, fans on, air conditioning on. But the idiot mayor of Los Angeles is trying to tell people that they need to, turn their thermostat up to 78 degrees. What does that mean? It means if you've got an air conditioner and the temperature's 35 degrees outside, you should turn it up to 25. That's what he wants the air conditioning to be set during the middle of a heat wave. But more importantly, he's trying to do this because he wanted less people to be dragging on the energy sector because they don't have enough power to go around in California at the moment.
Well, Paul, it's really interesting. I mean, I'm going to defend Eric Garcetti for one moment because I've met him. He loves Australia. Anyone that loves Australia gets off to a good start with me over here in the United States. So he is, and I thought he was actually going to be a pretty powerful contender to be president of the United States, to be the nominee of the Democrats. But having said that, what he's saying really illustrates the state of infrastructure here in the United States. It is diabolical. It's diabolical from one end of the country to the other. And in fact, cities like Sacramento today are going to hit 43 degrees. So You're absolutely right. The temperatures are soaring in California. And it is 2 to 5 degrees warmer or hotter than it has been over previous records. But the fundamental point is that America has not been investing in its own infrastructure. And Australia is blessed that governments of both persuasions in Australia have been investing in infrastructure over a long period of time. And the community in Australia really cares about infrastructure. In the United States, a lot of people see themselves as victims of the poor infrastructure. And the fact that California doesn't have enough electricity says it all. I mean, the fact that Los Angeles is running out of electricity and the Los Angeles government runs its own electricity company says it all. In fact, Garcetti was upset about some house parties in Hollywood Hills. So it's extraordinary what he did. He just ordered that the city close down the electricity and the water to individual houses that are holding parties against the coronavirus rules. So, you're finding that the heavy hand of government is not just in Melbourne, but it's alive and well in Los Angeles.
I was going to say, don't give Daniel Andrews that idea, or somehow he'll turn off all the houses that they've worked out where the Foxtel cable goes. Snip, snip, snip at 9 o'clock. All right, thank you so much, Joe. We'll talk to you again very soon, mate.
Good to see you, Paul.
All right, all the best. Yeah, that'll be the Daniel Andrews plan to save energy in the next little while. Now,